In today's easy cancel culture world, and cancel culture, woke culture, this culture, that culture, division, etc., that really bugs me. And in the spirit of that, you either succumb and be what you think other people want you to be, or you go, well, no, that's not who I am. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to be real. If you ask me something, a real answer is important, and the truthful answer is important, and that may get people upset, it may piss people off, and that's okay.
The Rock sold his soul to woke culture in exchange for success in Hollywood. But after a string of high-profile box office failures, he's finally learned his lesson. Tired of being a puppet, he declined to endorse Biden in the upcoming election. This has driven the woke mob into an absolute frenzy. The fact that Dwayne Johnson has come to his senses and refuses to be bought is turning Hollywood upside down. But despite recent hit pieces against him, The Rock refuses to crack.
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I'm an optimistic guy, and I believe we can get better. The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no.
The big question is, did Dwayne Johnson even believe in Joe Biden in the first place? Many are coming to find that the answer is no. But if this is the case, why did Dwayne offer Biden his endorsement and help him win the 2020 election? Well, it's a classic tale about the deal with the devil. How did The Rock's meteoric rise as the biggest star in Hollywood come about? One day he's just a guy from WWE, and the next he's the greatest blockbuster star of his generation. Well, you should understand that nothing in Hollywood happens by chance. How far you go depends on what you can do for the establishment. With the left losing the trust of young men in American society, they needed an icon who could sway interest back in their favor. And who fit the bill better than Dwayne Johnson? Because of his diverse background, he had the sympathies of many demographics. And due to his forays into the entertainment industry, he sure had the numbers to boot. Seemingly overnight, The Rock became the biggest name in Hollywood. It was damn near impossible to go anywhere without seeing his face. So far, his movies have grossed over $10 billion worldwide. His tequila business is also valued at around $3.5 billion. At the start of his career, The Rock made himself available to both political parties and used his influence to urge young men to vote. But after the promise of Hollywood success was made to him, he sold out and became a mere mouthpiece for the left. All of a sudden, The Rock went from being an icon to being a mascot. And that's when everything started to go downhill.
I have never publicly endorsed a presidential candidate or a vice presidential candidate in my life, over my career. So I figured let's kick this conversation off this way by me officially publicly endorsing you both to become president and vice president of our great country.
That's fantastic. Thank you. That
means a great
incredible.
deal to us, for real. Thank you.
Really. Thank you.
No one is saying it's wrong for The Rock to get involved in politics. But back in the day, movie stars who got political did so of their own volition and voiced their own opinions. Just think about great men like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Clint Eastwood. Though both got into politics, no one can accuse either of being a political mascot. Well, after enjoying all the sweet bucks that Hollywood had to offer, The Rock didn't think twice before offering his endorsement to a politician he didn't believe in. It's no secret that his support helped the Democrats win the White House. But almost as soon as he did this, he began to regret it. Rather than leave him alone, the left began to demand more and more of Dwayne Johnson. Perhaps it was a little naive of him to think he needed to do this one thing and that he'd be done. But The Rock soon came to realize that he was a puppet whose strings were constantly being tugged.
Where are you? Where is our leader? Where are you? Where is our leader at this time? At this time when our country is down on its knees, begging, pleading, hurt, angry, frustrated, in pain, begging and pleading with its arms out, just wanting to be heard, begging and pleading and praying for change. Where are you? Where is our compassionate leader who's going to step up to our country, who's down on its knees and extend a hand and say, you stand up. Stand up with me. Stand up with me because I got you. I got you. I got you. I hear you. I'm listening to you.
Now, The Rock has never been the best actor, but that clip is just painful to watch. Does he believe in the truth of his words? We'll leave that for you to decide. At a point, he even appears to have forgotten his lines.
Where are you? Where are you? Because here's what happens.
But hey, what do we know? This moment occurred months before he officially offered his endorsement to Joe Biden. This goes to show just how The Rock had lost control of his political output. Having witnessed the effect of his political endorsement over the last 4 years, The Rock has come to deeply regret his actions. Since 2020, the woke mob has risen in full force throughout America, becoming a genuine threat to independent thought and free speech. Their influence extends past politics and covers all facets of daily life. The entertainment industry in particular has been negatively influenced by this soft-skinned rabid horde. The Rock's road to regret was not an easy one. It began when the paycheck started to get lighter and lighter and lighter. You see, Dwayne Johnson's core audience, who had stuck with him since his early days in the WWF, could tell that he was leading them astray. As such, they began to let him know just how displeased they were by voting with their wallets. The Rock's subsequent projects became the target of harsh criticism all across the internet. His box office gross also began to fall off. The Rock began to realize that it's hard to be a success in Hollywood when the woke mob directs your every move. Rather than being creatively free to entertain, everything he did had to be calculated. In no time, Dwayne Johnson lost all his authenticity. His power move to rival the MCU with DC Studios fell flat on its face.
For more, what's the reason or the reasons for the stopping of Black Adam?
I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership.
While he was still in denial, The Rock blamed a change of leadership in Warner Brothers over the failure of his new franchise. But we all know that isn't true. What does the general audience care about changes in studio leadership? If the movie's good, it's good. It's more likely that DEI initiatives pushed relentlessly by the woke mob sank The Rock's franchise aspirations. He basically admits this later in the same interview.
The world went crazy. And also too, and you were texting me this on opening weekend, is we created a diverse superhero portfolio where we had just men and women of color, in Black Adam too as well. So
at the start, PC culture netted The Rock hundreds of millions of dollars. Eventually, though, the very thing that had made him immensely rich turned against him. He became a prisoner in a castle of his own design, but thankfully he managed to break out of the Matrix. The woke mob was content to keep Dwayne Johnson as their mascot, but to their surprise, they had crafted a monster they couldn't control. As the most influential movie star in all of Hollywood, Dwayne had not yet lost the faith of his large fan base. All he had to do to win them back was to start speaking the truth. Reactions on the left were predictable as usual. The woke mob just couldn't accept that Dwayne Johnson wasn't going to be their poster boy anymore. As a result, they turned on him and attacked him. This happened across all corners of the internet. Outlets like The Root, MSNBC, and Vanity Fair put out hit pieces, claiming he was out of touch and that he was throwing black people under the bus. On The View, he was booed and mocked for his political neutrality.
I'm not going to do that because what I realized, what that caused back then was something that tears me up in my guts back then and now, which is division.
On social media platforms such as Facebook and X, The Rock was not exempt from criticisms either. The woke mob was so offended by his decision that he was attacked for being a coward. In fact, a hit piece about The Rock, which made some truly outrageous claims, soon began to go viral on the platform. Given the suspicious timing of the piece, there's no doubt that some forces within Hollywood were trying to destroy sympathy for Dwayne Johnson. Obviously, the woke mob ran with it and made it go viral, but most other people were not so easily deceived. Most free thinkers on X were easily able to recognize the goal of the hit piece. After years of being the industry golden boy, why were all these stories coming out now? It's scary what the woke mob will do to anyone who doesn't fall in line. Thankfully, most fans of The Rock were smart enough to see through the nonsense. The media tried to paint Dwayne Johnson as an asshole for coming to work late on set. But little did they know that this actually benefited workers in the end. The far left must be truly desperate to try and destroy Dwayne Johnson's reputation in this way. However, their fear is understandable. During a conversation with Trevor Noah, The Rock revealed that he had been approached by a political party that asked him to run for president. He also added that if this is the will of the American people, he would consider it.
I saw you made news. I don't know if you heard about this, but you mentioned on a podcast that you were approached by a party to maybe run for president, run for office. How does that feel, by the way, when that happens?
It's crazy and it's wild. This run for president talk has kind of been in the ether for the past couple of years, and it never stops being surreal. It was incredible.
President Dwayne Johnson. Now, that's a truly terrifying image for the woke mob. When most other celebrities declare they want to run for president, people write them off. But knowing The Rock and knowing how popular he is, the presidency is not so far-fetched of a goal for him. Dwayne Johnson has definitely been on a roller coaster over the past 4 years. But thankfully, he has come to his senses and is finally resisting the woke mob. His resilience is inspiring countless young men all over America. Now, they too are finding it a bit easier to stand up to woke culture. Do you think The Rock will ever become president of the United States? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. Either way, Dwayne Johnson has taken a leaf out of Jerry Seinfeld's book. The billionaire comedian recently put the woke mob in tears for trying to cancel him. To find out how expertly he dismantled this attack, check out this video right here.